My name's Simon Isaac. I'm a photographer based in Southend in Essex. I love Southend because it's got, I think, a fantastic underground arts movement. A lot of my work is done in film as well, and I use quite an old-fashioned film camera. It's a 45-year-old Leica. And then if I use digital cameras, I tend to use rangefinders. I don't use an SLR camera. I like the feel of a sort of an old-fashioned camera. My current project is called Into the Light, and that's all about a nuclear disaster. So I'll be looking at work in Chernobyl, Pripyat, Kopachi, and I'll be travelling to San Francisco this year to photograph a nuclear installation there. And I've had previous exhibitions, The Working Men, where I've travelled Britain photographing different men in their working environments, and that includes farriers, priests, soldiers, all sorts of people, racing drivers. And before that, I had a project which sort of focuses on derelict buildings, which are a real passion of mine, and that was called Silent Sentinels, and that was about bunkers and towers and turrets from the Second World War. I love photographing derelict places. First of all, I've got a background in the military, so I served in the RAF for 4 years. And also, when I was a boy, I had a den which was in an old World War II pillbox. So I used to go in there with my friends, and we used to sort of hang out in there. And I was brought up in the countryside. So ever since then, I've had a fascination with these places. And also, I spend most of my time with other people. So I like the solitary feel of them. So for me to go out and photograph derelict buildings and be in them on my own and feel and experience maybe what other people's lives were like and find things and objects, for me is hugely desirable. I love it, and it's great to have that solitude. My visit to Chernobyl and Pripyat, at first I thought this is going to be a really interesting experiment, and obviously it was. What I didn't count on was the emotional impact it would have on me when I left there. So to be able to visit a city which was occupied by 100,000 people, which was evacuated within 3 hours during the nuclear disaster in 1986, to see what people had left and their homes, the places they worked, theatres, cinemas, police stations. I was able to see things that you would never have seen in any other time. So interrogation cells in a police station, decaying pianos on stages, hospitals where firefighters who were called liquidators during the disaster were treated and died within 5 days usually. To see those sort of things was quite humbling and very emotional, but an experience I'll never forget and will always treasure.